Oh, yes. It's Monday.
It is Monday. It is October 2nd.
It is. And episode 171.
Every week you say it, I don't believe you.
I know. It's getting out of control. 171
times.
And it's a double feature because it's October already. Happy fall. Happy spooky season. Is that?
So 171, I mean, have we done over 3 years worth of shows, I guess, right?
Sure.
52 and 52 is 104, and 52 is 158. It's 56. So yeah.
Our first show was 6/6/2020. Yeah, we've been at this for a while.
160.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been doing this for a little bit here. So but we're still happy to be doing it with you, our friends and family and people of the internet land who come together to talk about movies. Tonight, special night. Every first Monday of the month, we do a double feature, and we're returning to our roots, comedies from the 80s.
This is true, and it is a night where there's also another comedy happening, Monday Night Football.
Oh,
so wow. Adam has already said, and I don't have the game on. I should have the game on right now here in Phoenix. Pardon me, but Adam did give a disclaimer. He'll pop in and out to trash these movies. I'll thrash these movies.
Okay, then. There's going to be some thrashing happening here. That's exciting. That's a reason to stay tuned right there.
But if you want to be on and actually talk about the movies in person with our faces,
I'd rather not.
You can go to EriDanLive.com.
No, it's EriDan Live. It's so easy. Or just you can be in the comments. You can just leave some notes and we'll pop them up occasionally and comment on what you have to say. Unless we don't like it, and then we won't bring it up at all.
All right. Speaking of bringing it up, let's bring some people in.
You want to bring some people in?
I think people in the waiting room already.
Wonderful idea. Because the green room is.
Let's add them to the stage.
Backstage? All right.
This just in. Hey.
There he is. Dave, all the way from. I don't know.
Pine Township, Wexford, Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh metropolitan area.
Right, exactly. How are you?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Long time no see.
It's been a long time, and I'm excited because I actually got to pick the movie, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's your night.
Speaking of excited. The exciting duo of Stacey and Wade.
Yeah, that's us.
Ready to bring some high energy octane to the show.
Yep.
Wow, okay.
We're alive. Yes,
Speaking
we're
of
still
high
alive.
octane.
Moving right along. And there's Amanda. Awesome. Here we go. All right. We got some room still if people want to join. We'll bring you in, but you're probably sitting at home wondering, well, I don't know if I want to join until I know exactly what you're talking about. So let's just jump in and start talking about some movies. We're going to start things off with Roxanne from 1987. Steve Martin, Daryl Hannah, Shelley Duvall, Fred Willard. Come on.
Kevin Nealon.
That's right, exactly. Budget of $12 million, worldwide gross of $40 million. The critics at an 88, the audience at a 63. Steve Martin with a prosthetic nose.
Yeah.
That's a bad thing now. You're not allowed to do that, apparently.
I know, just ask Bradley Cooper.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I know, it's so stupid. If you're supposed to look like the person, you're allowed to look like the person. It's not.
Well, you got to be
blackface.
careful with that too. There are some areas,
Well,
there
you
are some
can't do-
lines you don't cross.
Okay, but I mean, look at Will Ferrell in Austin Powers doing an Indian guy. Like you can't do that anymore.
Well, look at Mike Myers in Austin Powers playing a massively fat guy.
Right now, yeah.
But Steve Martin's nose in this movie, I don't think has anything to do with anything. It doesn't have to do with
Well, it has to do with the fact that it's based on Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah,
that's what it has to do with.
Absolutely, right? So, so was this anybody's first time seeing Roxanne?
I thought it was, but it seemed very familiar as we.
Very familiar.
Yeah.
I remember this movie fondly, but that said, haven't seen it probably in 25 years.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it more recently than that, but it's been probably at least 10.
It's been like 15 at least years for me.
It's almost been as long as the age difference between Daryl Hannah and Steve Martin.
Well, so we'll get to age differences when we get to the next movie.
Well, this.
Good thing.
But yeah, so yeah, I enjoy this movie. I think it's fun. I don't think it is, maybe Steve Martin's best work, but it's such a pleasant movie, right? That it's just, I find it was just enjoyable for me. To me, it's a fun watch, but it's not like, it doesn't keep you glued to the TV. Like, this is a movie you could do the dishes through.
Yeah. I think that's how I watched it.
One thing I like about it, there's no villain in this movie. In fact, there's really no villain in either movie. The worst you can say is the one guy who's sort of feels threatened by Josh in Big. But even then, it's not like he does any real retaliation or anything. He just...
Yeah, we have like the bullies at the beginning of Roxanne who are like jerks, and then he beats them up with the tennis racket. But like that's pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, Steve Martin is kind of the only evil person in the by falsely presenting himself in a way that makes Daryl Hannah sleep with a guy under false pretenses. He might be both the hero and the villain of the movie.
Yeah, I'm curious what their conversations were like once he actually went inside that house, because he was clearly just like a gibbering mess. And
well, he said he didn't say anything, is what he said.
Sure. Yeah, that's it's just such a weird sound sign. And he's like, okay, I'm done talking. We're good.
Yeah.
Also,
Speaking of his nose, in the scene where he went to the plastic surgeon and he held up a picture of a nose, what he wanted his nose to look like, that was actually Steve Martin's nose.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was a picture of his real nose.
That's really funny.
I love. Amanda and we discussed this really briefly yesterday. To me, the thing that made this movie as good as it was all of the small roles. Fred Willard as the mayor, all of the firefighters, the people in the bar. I mean, because I was thinking of, there's another Steve Martin movie that I like, which is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But there's two problems with that movie. One is Steve Martin is a jerk for a lot of that movie. Yeah. He really is. And so it's sort of unpleasant. And the other is it's really just Steve Martin and John Candy and not a whole lot else. And in this, those small roles really, I mean, Michael J. Pollard, and it's just, we got a Wayans in there for gosh sake. So,
Yeah,
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is that's too wacky for me. That's the wacky Steve Martin that I don't enjoy. It's kind of that chaotic wacky. But this to me it makes you like, oh, it'd be fun to live in a small town like that. It'd be small to know everybody and walk, as you walk through the neighborhood and have a fire chief that everybody knows, right? Like it's all it's all so pleasant, right? That even the worst parts of this movie aren't super dramatic. They're not super terrible.
Right. I do appreciate how kind of incidental the nose thing is to a lot of it. I mean, clearly it's there, and you have the few people every once in a while who comment on it and then kind of set him off because it's clearly a big issue for him. But it's because it does make sense that you live in this small town, nobody's gonna care that they're all just kind of your friends, so no one's gonna be regularly. But all the outsiders who come in, they're just can't help but stare weirdly long or something. Yeah, but it's more of a
long. When she punches him in the nose, you feel it. It's like, oh man.
What was the movie? Oh, it was Back to the Future 2. The movie where it sort of reminded me of that, where call him chicken, and he just that's that one line you don't cross kind of thing. And with Charlie, it was his nose. You just don't bring it up.
This movie and Planes, Trains. Oh, I keep cutting Amanda off. I'm sorry. Go.
If you have a factoid, okay. It did come across as kind of strange to me that like the first time she meets him after she got the letters, or I don't remember the other guy's name, but the other guy,
Chris.
Chris, thank you. When she meets him and they're talking, and she's just like demanding he recite poetry off the top of his head. Like, there's a big difference between being able to like write poetry when you have time to compose sentences and just like free form like.
Right. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?
Yeah. Like I feel like you could have
much
played
every
that
girl
off
I've
as,
ever
like,
dated. I don't know about you.
War. What is it good for?
It's a nice day for a white wedding.
Recite poetry for Stacy when you were.
There was a lot of Billy Idol in that movie. Well, in the
Yeah,
movie.
Billy Idol. Yeah.
I guess it was the second one.
The second movie, yeah.
Yeah,
This movie and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles came out in the same year. It's a big year for Steve
Interesting.
Martin.
Yeah.
And I like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I do. It's just there's this to me. This is a much more enjoyable movie. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles I like, and I'll watch it anytime. But it's my biggest problem with it, as I said, is Steve Martin's just really a jerk for a lot of that movie. Yes, he redeems himself at the end.
That's a John Candy movie.
Yeah, there's no real jerk in this. You know, the closest is Chris, and he's not a jerk. He's shallow. But that's no big deal.
And I did not like his character. I thought that the actor who played him was, He just was not pulling that off well.
But he was.
I know.
Iceman's rear seat in Top Gun.
I know you said. Anyway,
I think this is what, our third or fourth Steve Martin movie. We've done quite a few.
have we?
We did Mixed Nuts. We did The Man with Two Brains.
Yep. He was in Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Three Amigos.
Three Amigos. That's four right there.
We talk about Only Murders in the Building all the time.
That is also true.
No, when Daryl Hannah came on the screen, or her name did, I went, oh.
Yeah.
What's
I was just like,
Hannah?
she was never in anything any good. And
But she was in this. She was in Splash, which is very good.
Yeah,
I don't
Splash is good.
it's not.
If you mix this movie in the next movie, you've got Splash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got John Candy, you've got Tom Hanks, you've got Daryl Hannah,
Yeah.
and he's Daryl Hammond.
You're just missing Eugene Levy.
Oh my word.
He's got a nice eyebrow. Way better than Peter Gallagher.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a great.
But Steve Martin made a comment that he felt this was the first movie he made that he felt like he wasn't just people laughing at him as a stand-up comic.
Yes.
That he actually was sort of able to play a character that wasn't just, he had his one little wacky scene when he was doing the alien thing. They sort of wrote that one little scene in.
Yeah,
that was about it.
Scene.
What's that?
That was a strange little scene.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm not sure what the point of that. I mean, it was fun. I just didn't know what.
Well, the point of it was he was sending the old ladies over to her house to try to interrupt her and Chris.
Oh, for some reason, I never made that connection. Okay.
He even says that, and they're even going over. Roxanne, let us in. You hear them yelling as they're walking.
I was imagining more of a time gap. I don't remember why. Okay, cool. That makes more sense.
And the scene at the beginning when he is walking down the hill and he fights off the meanies with it, I said, man, I'm really glad I watched Cyrano recently because now I know that's his thing. And I thought it was going to be through the whole movie, and then it wasn't. So I was kind of glad, but it was funny to have it at the beginning.
Amazon recommended the Peter Dinklage version to us when this one was over, which I had forgotten was a musical, but we didn't watch it. We just watched the trailer.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a sitcom.
It definitely, after watching it and then watching Roxanne follows the storyline. I mean, pretty well, but modern times. I do want to watch the Jose Ferrer. Was that who did the 1950 version? And then also there's one that's a Kevin Kline as Cyrano.
Oh yeah,
that was it's a filmed version of the stage show, I think.
Oh,
interesting.
I think the one in the 50s with Jose Ferrer is, I think Mela Powers is in it. I think she might be Roxanne. Not sure.
I was waiting for Sting this whole movie, and he never showed up.
No. She never
What,
put on.
not Andy Summers?
She didn't put on her red light. How would he know to show up?
Ah.
You see, that's the problem.
I did like when he was helping her carry the telescope up the stairs and basically blackmailed her into revealing what her secret was.
It's the relationship that they build through the two of them. I think throughout this movie works really well, despite the age difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I feel like it's not like I think there's a 14 or 16-year-old age difference between the two of them. You know,
Which, if she were 18, might be creepy, but she's at least in her mid-20s.
you're right.
So, she's in grad school, so she's...
Yeah, she's probably in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
See, and I still wasn't seeing that as I just saw it as he grayed prematurely. I don't know why. I think it's just decades.
Well, he's had
of
white hair
watching
since he was
movies.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and Anderson Cooper have that going for them.
Decades of watching movies where the love interest lead male is so much older, it just became normal that they're really the same age instead of 20 years.
You mean like Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall?
Stuff like that.
There you go.
Age is a weird thing watching television and watching old movies. You never know. A man in his 50s, I'm like, that guy is 37. So you just kind of have to, they're playing a character. I didn't even.
Well, that's why Cary Grant stopped acting. He said,
right.
He couldn't play a romantic lead anymore.
Right.
And he tried, I think Walk, Don't Run was his last movie where he wasn't a romantic lead and it just didn't work. And he's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
This movie was in the top 100 list of best romantic comedies of all time.
Oh, wow.
Which immediately makes me say, Adam's going to love it.
It is.
I agree
is
that-
not subtle.
It's true. It's true.
Daryl Hannah is not a good actress.
No.
She's a mediocre. She's not a bad actress. She's just mediocre.
Bad actress. I don't think that's.
She's no Madonna.
No.
Yeah.
Here's sort of a name drop. My old sales manager at La Brea Chevrolet used to go out with Daryl Hannah.
Oh,
Wow.
Did you have a lot of tar in your parking lot
No, she was famous.
Was she?
at La Brea?
Yeah. It was near the tar pits. Yeah, she was dating. She was either dating or married to somebody when she was going out with him.
Oh,
Okay.
okay then.
Weird.
yeah. I was a little surprised how kind of quickly she forgave him after some pretty hardcore deception, and then when she confronted him about it, he's like, I wasn't deceiving you, and I'm like, dude, you were 100%.
Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Wow. How about
Daryl Hannah peaked after Splash, and before it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's all I got to say.
Whatever that means.
Gary says hi, everyone.
Fair enough. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Gary. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like I feel like she was fine for this role, right?
I agree.
As far as anybody who is going to be enamored so much by poetry,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I didn't.
Daryl Hannah's career.
Distract me from her role in this at all. Like I didn't feel like she was. I don't think she was a problem in this movie. I'm not sure I'd want to see her in every movie.
So she didn't have a terribly deep role. I mean, her role was fairly simple,
Yes.
and I think she did fine with it.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I think we're ready. We're ready. All right.
Yes, let's do it. It's double feature night.
Oh yeah, it's time to rate the reel. Scale from
Of
0 to
wheels.
100. When I get to start,
All right. Well,
I
Eric.
get to start for once. How about that? It feels like it's been so long. So I feel like this is not one of my all-time favorite movies. But I think it was. I'm glad we revisited it because it's been a long time for me, and it was a movie that I had very fond memories of. And I think it's a very enjoyable movie. I agree. It's not like riveting. You're not hanging on every moment because there's not a lot of action or adventure or mysterious plot points that you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But it is a very nice, pleasant movie about nice, pleasant people who live in a nice, pleasant town. And so for that, I give it an 82. I'll probably watch it again before I die, but not before the end of the week, which I hope are not the same thing. So,
yeah,
wow,
certainly, yeah.
It's called Macabre.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Always us.
It's not all.
Josh and Miss Patterson.
So I thought I hadn't seen it before, but it was very familiar. But again, I think it was like, who said that it was like one of those things that you can be washing the dishes to, and that's probably what it was. We probably rented it when we were first married.
yes.
That's what we did back then. Go to the video store on Friday.
Video
And,
store.
I know. So I thought it was going to be worse than it was. I don't like Chris. It was stupid. He was just so stupid. But I do remember him throwing up. That's when I went, I've seen this before. And it's a beautiful setting wherever they were filming. I didn't look up where they filmed it, but I thought it had to be Washington State.
Bainbridge Island, I believe, was where they. No, I'm kidding. No.
It was Vancouver, and it was up in Canada.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah,
it was
so it's
really,
the Northwest.
Really beautiful, really beautiful. So that was a plus. It was entertaining. It's Steve Martin. I do like Steve Martin. It wasn't your typical Steve Martin, like we said, which sometimes can be pretty annoying, but that's okay because that's his shtick. I get it. But this was not his normal thing, and I'm right there with Eric. I'm giving it an 82.
82. All right.
Wait.
So I like these 80s movies because it gets me back into the old hairstyles and everything and makes me feel young. So
Back when we all had hair.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it an 85.
85 from Weed.
All right. And as Dave blows his nose, he's next.
But I muted first.
Well,
I really enjoy this movie. It's possibly the most... It's not the funniest Steve Martin movie, but in some ways it's almost the most just pleasant to watch Steve Martin movie. It's really just... It's a romantic comedy. If you hate romantic comedies, you're not going to like it. So just given that... It's also not an over-the-top romantic comedy. It's not one where there's just, almost the formulaic Hallmarkish type of, oh, they're going to get together. Oh, no, some terrible misunderstanding has occurred. And No, it was the basic Cyrano story, and it was well told. It was well written. There were a lot of funny little lines, and the firefighters were hysterical. I just love those guys when they're rehearsing, and they're so incompetent. That was where the slapstick came from. It was surprisingly, it didn't come from Steve Martin. It came from the bit players, which I thought worked really well.
Yeah, those were funny.
So again, it's just possibly my favorite Steve Martin movie. It's hard to say that for sure, but it could well be, depending on my mood. So it's a solid 88.
88.
88. All right. Let's go over to Amanda.
Yeah. I think this is a nice movie. I agree that the firefighters are awesome. I think if we didn't have that side plot, it would definitely not rate this highly for me, just because the romance story it's well done, but it's not the most compelling. I mean, it's fine. It's just there's always the little bit of like they're really being very like a bit of a jerk. Like the two of them are kind of being a jerk to this poor woman and never really apologized to her for like this massive large scale
really
deception that they're pulling. And it feels a little creepy. I mean, it's fine, but and it's the story and it's not a problem, but it's just kind of like, okay, you clearly have no concerns about messing with this woman emotionally. Okay, but yeah, I think it's a fun movie and just a pleasant one to watch. So I'm going to give it an 86.
86.
Yep.
All right.
86. Gary's giving us a score.
Oh my goodness, Gary! I'm so happy. That's
Overall, the movie is enjoyable, but that's mainly because of Steve Martin. He was borderline genius and carried the film. I'll give it an 87.
Wow.
87 from Gary.
We don't have Adam's score. We don't have my mother's score yet. Or anyone else in the comments, if you want to give a score, you're more than welcome to. By giving a score, you're eligible to be on the wheel, by the way.
That is true. Absolutely. We will add your name. We'll add a spot for you on the wheel so that you might get to choose.
Yeah, Steve Martin was trying to get out of I only do goofy, crazy characters and
Wild and crazy guys.
And he wrote the screenplay to this. So, I mean, This kind of showed that he can do some serious acting, which he's done since.
Yes.
And I think, contrary to Adam, I think Steve Martin's one of the funniest people alive.
He is funny.
I think that he's underrated, if
Yes.
anything. Of course, I think Martin Short goes right along with him. I think the two of them being in a show together, but it's amazing. But I kind of agree with everybody else. I mean, this is not a perfect movie. It's a good movie. I'll watch it again, I'm sure, before Eric dies. And
you better hurry.
if not, we'll watch it at your funeral.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I don't know why we're talking about that. That's really dark.
Well, let's not say it again.
No. It's like Beetlejuice. You can't say it 3 times. But I think we're looking at a solid 85 for me.
85. Solid.
Gary wants to know another actor could have played this role as well. And Dave, of course, typed in
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Choice.
No.
So we have time for, here we go. Here's Adam. Oh, Adam, I'm shocked.
There you go.
I thought it would be lower. This movie's 25 times better than Cats.
For a romantic comedy, that's a high score from Adam.
That might be one of your highest score romantic comedies, Adam. And I commend you on that.
Check the records. Yeah, it's very possible. All right. Do we know if your mother? Well, we can wait. I'll wait
put it
after
in
the score, and we'll wait and see if we hear from your mother. But we can move on to our second movie of the double feature, and it's big. 1988, Tom Hanks, David Moscow, Elizabeth Perkins,
Robert Loggia,
John Lovitz. Come on, Penny Marshall, directing, $18 million budget, 152 worldwide gross. The critics at a 98, audience added 82. This is our second Tom Hanks, Penny Marshall mashup here on the film.
League of Their Own.
Yeah, League of Their Own, right?
The first female-directed movie to do $100 million.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
See?
Interesting fact for you.
And I will say off the bat, this, I believe, is a perfectly cast movie. Like, there is absolutely nobody throughout this entire film that I imagine needs to be swapped out for anybody in this movie. I love this. I love the casting in this movie. I love even the kids, because sometimes kids are rough, and hard to stomach through a movie. The kids set everything up so beautifully.
Yeah.
The casting of young Josh
is very good.
Billy.
And Billy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's totally believable that that's the young Tom Hanks. Right?
It's a very, very different movie, but in a way that part of it reminded me of Stand By Me, because you have just the very real feeling relationships between young kids.
Yes. That was like Dan and I for our entire life.
It was. Now, let me just share this real quick. I mentioned this last week that my cousin was in this.
Aw.
He's since passed away, sadly.
Aw.
He's right there.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
The bookie.
yep. He's the father to 3 of my. He was married to my cousin Jody, and they had 3 kids.
Aw.
But wait, there's more. He's in the scene a lot. Look, he's still back there.
look at
The guys,
wow.
come on. Who should we play? What are we going to do?
He had a lot of FaceTime there.
I know.
Yeah.
But wait, there's still more. He's still back there trying to figure out who they're going to bet on,
He can't
or what movie they're going to go see.
bet on.
It's a hard
There's no idea.
There's a lot of extras. Penny Marshall liked to bring in the extras, that's for sure.
It makes it very real feeling.
Look at his face.
That may have got us kicked out. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
And it's one of those cases where you believe he could grow up to be Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Well,
It's
have you seen
believable.
what he looks like?
No.
No.
I didn't look him up.
Here we go. I'll share this.
Here we go.
It's not going to be Rick Springfield in the hot tub, is it?
No, that's Erica's. That, not me.
You wish.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, there's a little resemblance there. I can see. Yeah.
There's like a little video that was showing here. I don't know what happened to it. Oh, here he is. But first, coffee. There he is.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah.
Is he still an actor?
Wow.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff.
That's awesome.
Nice.
2018 was his most recent thing.
Nice.
This is Christmas. 3.9.
He was in Jack the Reaper. No, I have no idea what that is.
He's done a few things.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
If he was missing a lot of hair, I would cast him to play Dan, and It's Alive.
Right.
He'd have to shave his head.
That's awesome.
I agree that the casting in this was excellent.
Yeah.
Adam has a point here, which I did think about. It starts off cute, then becomes kind of creepy and problematic.
I don't know if I'd go
I
very
don't really agree.
problematic. Adam, I think you need to expand on that, specifically what you're getting at.
Well, I'll say how I interpret that is, he's with a much older woman who looks a lot like 11 from Stranger Things. Anybody else think that? The lead actress?
Never watched Stranger Things.
I've only seen this first season.
You think Elizabeth Perkins looks like Millie Bobby Brown?
Yes. Let me pull a picture up.
I also don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that.
No.
Because I haven't looked at her recently, so maybe she's.
I just thought she looked like it in this. Let me see. Elizabeth Perkins.
The
I mean,
drama's killing me.
This is
The
a good
suspense.
I know. Well,
The
I'm having
suspense.
trouble bringing it. I have to find it.
If you're
There's
watching
screen.
point, you should have prepared slides in advance.
And look at her in this video right here with Whoopi.
That looks a lot like Whoopi Goldberg.
Wait. That's Gwyneth Paltrow. That's Kathleen Turner.
Well, I don't know. I can't.
There
I
she
don't
is.
know.
Look. Tell me that doesn't look like Millie Bobby Brown.
Not. I mean, she's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's just
right
flashes of people. I don't know.
Recognize her. Like
That was a bad example.
Get a picture.
But yeah, she kind of has.
I mean, this is her now. I'm trying to find a picture of
I
her
was-
then.
In Dan's defense, I will say they are both women.
You saw
Thank
Millie
you.
Bobby
They're
Brown,
both brunettes.
that's what she looks like.
Oh, okay. Well, that.
yeah, and I
No,
also
I mean the thing. I don't find it creepy, to be honest. I mean, he's physically an adult, as is she. As soon as she realizes he's a kid, she kisses him on the forehead and sends him on his way.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and there's I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, it really didn't bother me. I had like a brief moment when they were starting to kiss, and I was like, "Oh, that's a little interesting that he's like." But like, it wasn't. It never like they didn't show anything, and it really wasn't an issue.
And if he was 7 or 8,
Yeah, that would have been a little weirder.
let's put a fine. Yeah, I mean he was 13, and not that that's
No, it's still not the age of
not
consent.
that should be legal in any state. But
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've also only ever seen Millie Bobby Brown like as a much younger child, so I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to compare
It doesn't look
that.
like her on
the
screen.
sequel bigger.
I don't see it at all.
I don't remember who the other woman looks
Yeah,
like anymore.
not
I don't
her
really know.
She does
Hold
have
on.
eyes and lips. I'm sorry.
This is gonna be worth it. This is
There are definitely similar.
Look, somebody actually posted. Okay, it's not just me. This is actually a search thing.
Okay.
sure.
Look at this.
The internet can't be wrong. There it is. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. Maybe.
but, like,
They're
I mean,
very
there's
generic
similar-
pictures,
There's
though. That's
similar
just,
expressions in
No,
that
there are
photo,
pictures
but
of these
they-
people. They look like each other.
Wow.
I mean, there's definitely like some resemblance, but I wouldn't call it like
there's a very slight resemblance,
massive
maybe.
resemblance.
More than some
Are you
people.
serious? You don't see that?
I mean, I
Deadpan
can see that
faces.
there's some similarity, yeah, but they're also picking very.
You can't tell
similar
who's who in that picture.
Because
Yes,
I
you
don't know people.
No, the first one that was over here, I thought it was the same person, and then I realized it was both of them.
Wow.
No, I see it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there
I
you
can see
go.
a similarity, but I don't think it's something I would pick up on or
Yeah.
call remarkable.
Look, people are actually asking if they're related to each other. So it's not just me.
I get it, but I'd be willing to bet you can name almost any two actresses that don't look grossly dissimilar, and you'll find people having searched for they.
Someone has searched
All
on the
right.
internet before. It's not a very strong
Yeah,
argument,
it's
but I
The
get
older
it.
one and the younger one.
Ah.
I don't know.
I get
There
it.
you go. Brittany's in the comments. So thank goodness you didn't get to maybe bring some normalcy back to the conversation. Maybe.
So the whole age difference, as an adult,
Mhm.
I see the problem. I see how weird it is. As a 19-year-old, when this came out, this movie was excellent to me. It was it was those things that when you're a kid, you're like, I just want to be big. I'm so sick of this. And then you go and you do it. Now, as an adult, the problem with he gets left in this scuzzball hotel by himself and he's crying. Oh my gosh, my heart broke.
Yeah, that was.
As a child. And that the police don't question his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, they may have questioned him, but he's not going to say anything.
Yeah, but they didn't even show that at all. And then, because he was in town all the time seeing this old guy. Why weren't they following him? You know,
Yeah, you would have thought that someone would have at least thought that he was the kidnapper, right? Like,
They let this go. They let this case go pretty easily.
They really did. And then his mom is just sitting in his room with the walkie-talkie. She'd be going crazy. I'm sorry. So I see those are the problems I see as an adult. As a 19-year-old, I saw that those were there, but not that bad. And life was different back then. And this movie was like, yeah, that's so cool. That because you want to go do things when you're a kid.
You just want to go find a Zoltar machine. That's what that's what everybody wanted.
You just have to unplug it first.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So that to me was really cool back then. And that nostalgia was still there. The weirdness, hit me as a mom.
What about the $186 a week?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
John
that was before he got promoted to VP.
That's what we get.
What's the math? What was his hourly wage?
Well, that's $500 compared to today's money. Yeah. Which still, $500 a week is not something. Oh my God, $500.
Well, he was living in a Fleabag hotel at the time, though. Once he got promoted to VP,
$17.50 a night.
I mean,
plus $10 for the sheets.
This puts a lot of dream buttons. As you're growing up as a kid, right? That loft. I still want to move into that loft.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm still all about. I want ceilings you can have a trampoline in.
Exactly.
Well, and people talked about Steve Martin sort of making Roxanne. That without Tom Hanks, he can play a man-child better than just about anyone that you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. And he was playing himself, the teenager, mature, and I kept picturing the kid.
Mm-hmm.
On purpose. I was making myself.
You never lost that. You never lost that he was.
Whether it was the cherry in the restaurant or playing with the toys up in his office or
pressing every button in the limousine.
But then he turns around and he's really polite to Miss Patterson. Can you get us this? Can you get us that? And she's like, yes. But I thought, he asked appropriately, and his mom would be so proud. He was a good kid, and I loved that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the fact that he chose to go back also shows he was a good kid. He said, "Well, there's 1,000 reasons I could go back, and there's only one reason to stay."
Right.
Which is really a beautiful line.
And so grown up.
And that's now a Lady Gaga song.
Well,
it's 1,000 reasons. That's actually what she says. I've got 1,000 reasons to leave and one reason
it's
to
stay. It's a million reasons, but that's okay.
A million reasons. All right.
Loft. And Brittany, it's not too late. It's not too late to get yourself a trip.
It's not.
So,
you just need a spotter though, or you're gonna break another arm. You're gonna be careful.
One thing I like about this movie that made me like Tom Hanks even more is when I read in the trivia facts that so they had the kid do all of the parts before Tom Hanks did. So Tom Hanks would watch how the kid would do it, and then he would do it as the kid. And then I saw an interview with him where they were trying to come up with the accent for Forrest Gump, and the kid that they had cast for Forrest Gump already had this deep Southern accent. So Tom Hanks went up to him. He says, "How would you say this?" And he said, "I would say it like this." And so he emulated the kid instead of the other way around, because like the kid's never going to be able to do a voice we tell him to do. Right. Let him do his own voice, and I'll do that voice as an adult. Mm-hmm. So just the genius behind taking what you have and making it better is so much. It's just
he is one of those guys. He's one of the consummate professional. Henry Winkler's another one people always throw out there is just an absolute joy to work with and a total professional.
Well, this was supposed to be Tom Hanks couldn't do the movie because he was busy, so they went to De Niro. and they were starting to cast it.
Yeah.
They had De Niro, and they were changing it to this more street heavy kid, and the kid that auditioned to play young Josh was now eliminated because he didn't look like him. But then De Niro wanted $6 million. And they said, budget's $2 million. And Tom Hanks is like, I'm available. And he took his $2 million payday, and they brought the kid back in.
Wow.
When we went in 1988 on our senior trip to New York City, we went to FAO Schwartz, and we went to that restaurant and had pizza.
Wow.
And they do throw dough. They throw dough around the room.
You took the big tour.
We did the big tour, and I didn't even really realize I was on the big tour.
And FAO Schwartz is now gone, right? That's no longer in New York City. That's
I don't think so.
I think it's still there.
It's an FAO Schwartz store. I think it's like changed. I think like I never went to the old version, so I think it's like under new management or something. But there's definitely an FAO Schwartz store. We went there when we were in New York City a couple of years ago.
Okay, yeah, it is. There's still one right in downtown. You're right.
Oh,
I
in
bet.
Marcus Fuller Center.
I bet you they still have the big piano.
That's
No,
a
I
good
don't think
question.
they do.
I don't know. It's closed though right now.
At 8:40.
10 a.m. tomorrow morning if you're interested in stopping.
See, I loved the like joy on the
Adam.
executive's face during the floor
Yes.
scene while he was
Yeah,
playing.
Robert
Yeah.
Loggia was great.
Yeah, I just felt like most of their acting in that really
Honestly,
really
next to
appealing.
Tom Hanks, I think he's the second best cast character in this
Yeah.
this film because he sells that whole owner of a toy company, and they don't have to like say everything for you to understand how much he appreciates the business and
Yes, and how
don't
important
know
it
if
is to him.
I don't know if we're going to get
we're
a
definitely
flag
going to
for
get
this.
kicked off if you play that.
All right. There's this. There's just a funny scene where Peter says, "That's like getting stuck in line behind Robert Loggia at the airport." And it starts with, he goes, "And what's your name?" He goes, "Robert Loggia." "Can you spell it?" "R as in Robert Loggia." "O as in, oh my God, there's Robert Loggia." "B as in, by God, that's Robert Loggia." "E as in, everybody loves Robert Loggia."
Yeah.
He goes, "T as in, thank God it's Robert Loggia." Space. L.
Space.
Very funny. So I won't play it, but I will put the link in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you did an excellent performance of it.
Yeah, it really felt like I was.
Robert Loggia. It's one of Josh's favorites.
I mean, and just the fact that he goes to FAO Schwartz every Saturday, it's someone, you get the idea this was either maybe his father's business passed down to him or a business he founded, and it means a great deal to him. Yeah.
He's Robert Loggia. By God, it's Robert Loggia.
Did you see the 2 links I posted in the private chat? Because there's one where he did the Tom Hanks outtakes that he did on SNL is, I think, hysterical. And then he also did on Colbert many years later, he did a sort of a big throwback.
A big thing.
We'll put it in the comment. Robert Loggia's greatest role was Robert Loggia on Family Guy.
It's very possible.
There you go, Dave. I just shared the big. Lots of links tonight.
So you got to keep up with all the stuff. Have they ever talked about making Big 2?
Oh, my.
I feel like they have.
What would you?
Big 2, really big.
Link.
I think you call it two.
Freaking
He goes to
robot.
college and Elizabeth Perkins and he hook up in college or something.
How about big and bigger?
Oh, there you go. Bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
The biggest.
There you go.
When's that from?
I don't know if this site is reputable at all.
Let's see.
Oh, this
He was
looks
in
like-
Grand Theft Auto 3.
But yeah.
Giant freaking robot. I don't know if it's real.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess with no.
Independence Day. I forgot he was in Independence Day.
So yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Glad.
I don't think a sequel would work.
I don't think so
I'm
either.
not sure what you
now.
do.
Pray that they don't do a sequel.
Well, that's basically what Tom Hanks is asking for in the Colbert clip, more or less,
That's awesome.
in a way. Yeah, but I do enjoy this movie, and while I do think 98 from the critics is a little bit extreme,
That is quite.
I really think it's an excellent movie.
Well, let's find out how excellent you think it is. Da-dun, 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 da. Robert Loggia.
Wow.
Do we have to do the thing again? I guess
No,
not.
we don't have to do anything. Let's just do it. Let's just jump in. All right. I love this movie. I mean, every time I watch it, I'm reminded how much I love this movie. I think the flow is perfect. I think the timing is great. The acting is amazing. The performances, the casting, the musical choices, just everything through it. There are parts that I think make it a little less than perfect. Some of the extended, I'm going to go back and look at kids in my neighborhood scene that lasted a little long, maybe, but sweet. It's sweet, you know. But man, I think all in all, everybody in this was firing on all cylinders. I love this movie. I'm going 95 for this movie for me, and I will watch this movie again and again.
Wow, not bad.
Yeah, I do like this movie. I have good memories of watching it the first time, just because Tom Hanks in the 80s was really up and coming and funny, and not that he's not now, but he's become an institution almost, starting there, you know. One of the things about the characterization was that when Elizabeth Perkins' character started dating him, she got younger looking. She pulling her hair back so severely. She's wearing the Peter Pan collar, and
it was cute. It was cute how they adjusted her character.
Her clothing choices changed significantly from very severe suits to a much softer, relaxed.
Exactly. So that was just part of that characterization that she started to relax, and then he got all upset because they wanted him to do this big marketing thing, and he's panicking. She's, come on, it'll be neat. And I just went, wow. And that's stuff that I don't remember noticing back then, but it was just still very cute. Yeah, I would watch this again and again as well. I just really think that it was really well cast. Mercedes Rule as the mother was she's a little severe Italian woman that I didn't get from the character and from Tom Hanks at all. But I love her, so it was fine.
Mercedes do rule.
Yeah. And I think that I'm going to give this a 94.
94. So we're to 94.5 if you're keeping score at home.
Whoa, that was quick math, Dan.
Check the database to make sure it works properly. That is what it says. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, again, I like the 80s styles in there.
He likes Elizabeth Perkins, too.
Yeah.
Check out Millie Bobby Brown. No, I'm kidding. Stay away from Millie Bobby Brown.
E as in Elizabeth Perkins.
It was more the red hair.
L as in, look at that, it's Elizabeth Perkins.
And Billy Idol got a lot of playtime in this movie, too.
Billie Eilish?
I didn't notice.
No,
Billy Idol.
Oh, Idol.
And, so I'm going to give it I'll go for 94 also.
94, even without any helicopters. That's pretty impressive.
I can't do the math now.
Well, there were some toy helicopters.
No jets or anything.
I really like this movie. I thought it was fun. It was my first time seeing it, so I don't have any nostalgia for it or anything. But I thought it was really, really great. I loved the piano scene. I thought, as we've all said, Tom Hanks did a really good job at maintaining that you believe that he was a child the entire time. I think there was something that obviously they kind of glossed over. Stacey was mentioning some stuff about how some of it was like, really, that's not really very believable. And I had that a bit with like, you would not be able to navigate the real world quite as well as quickly as he seemed to when he became an adult. I just kind of chalked it up to like, that's not what they wanted to focus the movie on. You could have had a movie of like him learning how like everything requires you to have an ID and he doesn't have an ID, or how do you actually negotiate
security number,
paying for things. Yeah, but like that wouldn't have been the same movie, and like it wouldn't have been. So like I kind of was like, I accept like that's fine. You don't need to give us that level of detail. It's not an issue.
It was the 80s. It was a lot different.
There you go. That's
you could probably have gotten away with some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was really fun, and it was something that I would definitely be happy to watch again. So I'm gonna give it 90.
90?
90.
Ooh, hey, it's me. Yeah, I do love this movie. Where I like Roxanne, I love this movie. It works in so many ways, and it's so sweet in so many ways. And even, like I said, Paul isn't really a villain. He's just an aggressive corporate guy who feels threatened. And his retaliation is
try to do a little background research and figure out who the guy is, and then snipe a little at him in a meeting. I mean, it's really never
He did punch
truly
him.
mean-spirited.
Punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Well, that's minor.
Well, okay.
and
But who hasn't?
they had a long extended wrestling scene before that. So. But I also thought, just such a. Stacy mentioned it, is the way they developed the romantic interest, her character. You get an idea that she was sad to see him go, but she was a much better person for it.
Yeah.
And the little aside was, "You could keep my number for 10 years," line that she says, as they're walking for her to drive him home. It's just a sweet little thing, and it just worked in just about every way. I don't find the creepiness really creepy. I think it's just the story. That's what the story is. And if you were a 13-year-old hormonal teenage boy and you suddenly found yourself in a grown-up body in that circumstance, it's not like things would be likely to go much different. It's
Exactly.
just... And I love the fact that once she really believed he was a kid, he leaned in for a goodbye kiss and she kissed him on the forehead. And it was
Although in the script it was a kiss on the lips, and Elizabeth Perkins is the one that chose the kiss on the forehead.
And that's great.
How about
I
that
love
for
that.
you?
I love when actors understand their own characters so much that they bring their own thing to play in it. That. So I have really no criticisms of this movie. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, I'll give it that, but it's a 95 for me as well.
All right. Before I give Gary's and Brittany's, which are in the comments, there was a rumor that the Australian version on VHS had a deleted scene where Elizabeth Perkins' character found the Zoltar machine and went and asked to be a young girl. And that was an alternate ending to the movie.
Aww.
But that never existed. It never happened. All right. Gary says, and I'm saying this because, wow, look at all. What is he saying down there? I love this movie. Hello. I love this movie. The writing, the acting, the directing are all perfect. Tom Hanks is one of the best actors of our time, probably because he's an alum of Sacramento State. Go Hornets. But the main reason I love this movie is because it's teaching us that being a kid is the best time of our lives. And at the end, Hanks chooses to go back to where he belongs, and that's very heartwarming. I could watch this movie every day.
Wow.
98.
98.
Oh,
Do it.
Wow.
Gary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brittany
I did want to make one other
says-
tiny comment, was just Eric said he thought that the scenes where he was going back looking at the other kids did drag on a bit long. I get that. But to me, that was him fighting.
No.
I mean, he had a great life as an adult. He had this beautiful apartment with everything he could ever want, a beautiful girlfriend. He just, there was like, he's struggling with the fact, do I just stay here or not?
Dave,
And-
he just set up Big Two, which is his life is a complete mess. He's totally searching for a Zoltar machine to see if he can.
So as a 14-year-old, he's desperately searching for Zoltar.
I mean,
no love life. He's serving hash browns for a living. He hates his life.
Well, and just when he's talking to Elizabeth Perkins about, you could come back too, and she's saying, no, I've been there. It was hard enough the first time, because there are kids for whom adolescence isn't that painful, and there are kids for whom it's hell.
Right.
And so it is really interesting that way.
Yeah, as someone who's a nostalgic to the 80s ad nauseum, as some people say, I think that would be Big Two, would be, he goes back.
Yeah.
And it's like that would be interesting. Brittany says, before I give my score, this movie holds more sentimental value for me than anything, but it was really well done for the time it was made. I'm at a 97 from Brittany.
Why the qualifier?
I don't know.
No.
For its time.
It's not when it was made.
My mom gives a score, but I'm not sure if this is
pain
the
meds
first.
talking. Good or sorry.
I don't know if this is for Roxanne or for. Wait. Which is, she gave me 2 scores, but I don't know which is which.
Well,
5 and 6.
As Eric described it, she's scoring Big Roxanne.
Yeah, Big Roxanne. Different movie. And that's the one that the Sting song is based on. Because my cousin David was a cousin-in-law, was in it, and I've seen it so many times. And I think again, Gary nailed it. Tom Hanks is really he's a treasure. Who doesn't like Tom Hanks?
Right. Let's watch Bachelor 30 next.
Sure. I mean, it's got Adrian Zmed and Tom Hanks.
Oh.
And Tawny Katane.
It's a
oh my God.
This is pretty damn close to a perfect movie, but it's not 100 by all means. I'm going to go 95 as well.
95.
My mother gives this movie a.
Oh.
And she gives Roxanne.
Oh, wait. No,
you just froze.
Give it a 9.
She give it a nah. Okay.
Am I still frozen?
You're good now.
What did
9-0.
Okay.
90.
And for Roxanne, she gives an 83.
Okay.
Very nice.
Roxanne.
Sorry.
Wait, I did have a question about Big that I forgot about. The one thing that didn't make sense to me was what made her realize after he entered the presentation that he was telling the truth. Because that scene very much reminded me of like the scene in Elf when the dad like runs out of a presentation. But at least in that one, he didn't really believe in Santa until he literally saw Santa. Like, what made her suddenly start believing? You're actually a child.
She had said the line that the kid gets to make the choice, and that's when he left. When she said the kid gets to make the choice, and then he left.
I don't necessarily think she believed him at that point, but she was going after him because she wanted to find out what was wrong.
Okay. Yeah, because it looked to me like she was like, oh, he was telling the truth. I was like, where did she? Okay, that makes more sense though.
I think she was just concerned about him because he was acting so weird.
Yeah, that's
and telling her this wild story, and then she gets him into this meeting. She probably thought he was having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Wow.
All right, Adam's score is what we expected. Tom Hanks was good. First bit of the movie was actually good. Then it went to this creepy romantic plot, a.k.a. romantic comedy. And I thought it wasn't necessary. Could have been great without that part of the plot. 38. Just knocked it out of the first column.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, very much so.
Wow.
You actually could not be more correct about that. Because, that puts Big at an 88.60.
Whoa.
Right up there.
Wow.
Barely beating out.
Wow, it just knocked it out.
Yeah, exactly. That's.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hate to. And Adam, you're right. You have your right to give your scores, but the fact that we just knocked Big below Fletch. I mean, the thing you do is another Tom Hanks movie.
With that, if we go to the second page, we can see Roxanne coming in here with a 78.11.
Solid middle. Yep.
Mean Girls. Depending on how you feel about Mean Girls. And Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me.
All right. Well, it is what it is. You have to take everybody's score.
Ultimately, it's all subjective.
Exactly.
It is.
Yes, the actual overall score is it's just a device to end up the segment. So at the end of the day,
that's true.
No matter, nobody's keeping score. Unless we're worried about whether they get to pick the next movie, which is the ultimate thing that I know everybody cares about, and I'm not really exactly ready for.
Oh, you know what? Adam does have a point. I might actually watch Fletch over Big as well.
I think you would.
Yeah. So, okay. Actually, Adam just proved that the scoring is actually 100% accurate. So
I would watch Big over Fletch, but I really enjoy them both.
All right.
I keep looking at the football game. Sorry.
I think I've almost got it. I might have done something terrible. Hold on.
I will say the coolest thing today. I walked into the Mannheim Auto Auction where I'm working out of this week, and the guy's wearing a Seahawks jersey. And at first, I didn't even think of anything. And then I was like, "Oh wait, I'm in Arizona." And the guy's wearing a Seahawks jersey. Hey, go Hawks! He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm from Blaine." I'm like, "Oh, that's way up north. I'm from Bainbridge."
Nothing ever happens in Blaine.
Blaine.
I have no idea what you're talking about at all.
I'm sure when Steve Martin comes to Seattle, he says, "Great to be in Seattle. Thank God we're not in Blaine." Probably his Beaver Falls version. And yet, Gary and Adam both gave the score at the exact same time.
Okay.
Oh, Adam's in Bellingham. Man. He's way up north.
Okay, then.
It's almost Canada.
Shall we do this?
Yeah.
All right. Feliz Navidad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's such a dense wheel. Oh my goodness.
I
Yeah.
know. It's a lot. There's a lot happening on the wheel. There are a couple people here on the wheel who I don't think are here in the comments tonight. So if their name comes up, we will spin again. So let's find out if we have to do that or not.
Did you add Gary?
I did.
All right.
Very nice.
It's thinking about starting. There it goes.
I already know what movie I'm picking if mine comes up, but it's not going to.
Me neither.
He's tempting fate, and it is Adam.
Oh my gosh!
Well, there
There
we
you go, Adam.
What
He
happened?
said it looks like a hypno wheel. Oh.
Superman was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, seriously.
Go ahead, pick Superman 2. I dare you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's so much better.
It is better in my opinion, but yeah.
That's good. I'm glad to hear. You just
Superman 2 is great.
Was setting up for the sequel, so hopefully.
Verifying yes, Adam only had 2 spots on the wheel.
Wow.
Oh,
Come on, Gary. That's not what we do here.
Says the guy with the Rush logo.
What's funny is Superman actually scored pretty well.
Oh, it was quite well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were just shitting on it the entire time going into it
Yeah.
because there's a lot of crap to it.
Mean that
It's a good movie with some glaring faults.
Yes.
It's so weird.
Adam says, "Give him it." He didn't expect to get picked. I mean, picked.
Well, it's your lucky night.
Well, if you put an S in front of it, you're pumpkin spiced. It's that time of year.
Oh,
If my name comes up this month before Halloween, I am going to pick What We Do in the Shadows. So
You're not gonna
we'll
pick
see.
Chucky.
No, I don't want to pick a horror movie. I want to pick a comedy.
well, I like
All
Yeah,
right.
if you pick a full-on horror movie, I'm not sure I'm watching that.
Yeah.
same.
It's true. We're not watching.
Yeah,
Or you can do to Gary's. You could do no for Halloween. Do Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Ernest Goes to Camp. You want to get a movie that gets a 5 from everybody.
You know what? That's not what would happen in this house if Reagan were here. That is
Oh.
That is
Ray likes
one of-
that little Ernest.
that's
Mhm.
her Pappy movies. The
Mhm.
Pappy showed that because my dad, when he did the Stop and Go commercials here, my dad just thought that was the hilarious thing ever. So he owns those movies.
Andy
Hey,
Slinky
Vern.
Dog.
Hey,
Yes.
they made a lot of money with those movies.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's talk about what else people have been watching while we wait for Adam to figure out what we're going to watch next Monday. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, as I've mentioned to a couple people already, I've already launched into the TV series for the end of the month, which is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, suggested by Amanda, and I'm loving it. We're 6 episodes in already. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. I'm not going to say too much yet in detail, but I'm very excited about it.
There it is. I watched the first 3 episodes so far.
Oh man.
But, yeah.
And it holds up for you, huh?
Yeah. Because I think I watched at least the night after I played it to make sure it wasn't a terrible choice. I was like, people are gonna like this, right? Let me watch the first 3
No,
episodes.
it's a wonderful choice, and all of the music is available on Soundtrack, available for download from your favorite download.
Yes, including with explicit versions. If you find that the lyrics in the show are too tame, a lot of the songs have explicit versions you can find online.
I'm excited.
I never actually. I didn't know what it was, so
Mm.
I'm looking forward to watching it because I always like the
really
idea of something new.
Never heard of it.
It is
It's a
very
musical
new.
comedy TV series. It's very fun.
Yeah, I remember when it was on. I watched a couple of episodes, but I never watched it regularly.
I think
What
I
network
started
was it on?
watching when they were.
Netflix.
Well,
No, it was a network show. It was a.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it wasn't like a main. Was it? What was it?
I thought it was. I thought it was ABC, NBC, or CBS.
Okay, I don't remember.
I could be wrong.
No, CW.
Oh, it was CW. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Oh.
So second tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
it was before they started doing nothing but superhero shows.
Yeah, I started watching when they were in season 3, and then they chose to end it at the end of season 4 because they kind of finished their story. So it does actually wrap up very nicely by the end of the final.
And I do love series that end. I love series that have an actual ending and know what they want to say at the end.
Yeah, there's a very
and get a
clear
chance to do it.
story progression over all the seasons, and the characters actually really do grow and change, which is also a very satisfying thing. But we'll talk about that later.
It reminds me of in Big Bang Theory when Sheldon is calling up the network, yelling at them and complaining because the show Alphas was canceled without a proper ending, and how he needs that to have a proper ending.
Yeah, it is. That is a thing. A lot of shows, yeah.
Yep. That was what was so smart about Judd Apatow with Freaks and Geeks, is he realized about halfway through the season they're never going to pick this up. It's going to get canceled. So he filmed the last episode.
Oh, interesting.
And then so that it was in the can, so he would have it to make sure they had a proper ending.
It didn't have a proper ending.
It depends what you mean by a proper ending. They're still teenagers. They're still kids. There's not like you know what they're going to be, but at least they finished sort of the arc they were on.
True.
Oh, no, Adam, don't worry about stealing anything.
Adam, there's no such thing as stealing.
No, there's
And for you and Adam to be on the same page for a movie.
Oh no, he's doing the pirate movie.
Yeah,
what I think it is, you should definitely do it.
When it comes to him.
Well, yeah, don't worry. Well, if it's the movie that Stacy told me before we went on the air that she hated, I think you should do it.
That's fun.
What was that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I hate a lot of things, I guess.
So the fall shows, such as they are, given that the writer's strike just ended, have started. CBS has taken the bold step of filling airtime by extending both Survivor and The Amazing Race to 90-minute episodes.
Oh.
They just basically, I'm sure they just went back and re-edited them to add more footage.
Oh yeah, because they film all day.
Yeah.
And
what about? Yeah, they're already done. But what also about like Price is Right, nighttime edition,
oh yeah,
and a Loto Loco or some Spanish lottery show? They're now putting that on CBS.
yeah, I saw that was coming on.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
We did watch the first episodes of The Amazing Race and Survivor, and I don't know if anybody cares about Survivor anymore, but the first episode, if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to give anything away, but it is one of the most annoying episodes I have ever seen of that show.
Reagan watched it. I
That is unfortunate.
couldn't watch it because I was in quarantine, and we were upstairs. He was in quarantine as well, so we couldn't sit here and watch it with her because she was flying out to Columbus and didn't want us to make her sick. So I didn't see it.
Oh, that would have been a good choice. Yeah,
That's a good one.
I agree, but I like the way he's actually
but
going.
he's sticking with Tim Burton either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Oh.
Corpse Bride.
I love kicking. Thanks for sticking to the theme, Adam. Very cool.
Very nice.
There you go.
I'll have to
Next,
roll.
there we go. That's exciting.
Cool.
So is it cartoon like or?
It's the same animation as Nightmare Before Christmas style. It's the same stop motion.
Okay.
Frankenweenie.
Did Wade tell you that when we were in Disneyland 2 weeks ago now that they had changed the Haunted Mansion over to Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yes, that is very cool.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy. It was very...
Yeah, there's an extra on either the Blu-ray or the DVD, probably both actually, where they talk about the retheming of the Haunted Mansion every year and how they do that and what went into it. Yeah.
Do they keep it up through Christmas or just for Halloween?
I think they...
Because it's Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a Christmas theme.
I think they keep it up basically, like late September through the end of the year, maybe into early January for the New Year's crowd.
We talked about that.
Yeah. I went last year, and I was impressed how well themed it was, and also they rethemed the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower of Terror to be very Halloween, which was also very cool. Like that was a complete overhaul of the story in that, which was neat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So basically 5 months of the year, mansion, maybe 6 months, is for 2 months it's shut down completely.
It takes forever to retheme it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they closed it
so
for
wow.
August. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder how long it takes them to transition it over.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It was closed all of August, somebody told us.
Wow.
And then September 1st or so is when they
It's September to February, it looks like.
Oh wow, that's a good chunk of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly when in September and when in February, I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day.
Right.
You want to make sure you go through Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
What's so weird is it's the Haunted Mansion. It's already Halloween themed. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, but people love that movie.
I was not impressed, and I was very sad. So, but I got the reason why. I was like, so here's me in the ride.
See, my recollection of the Haunted Mansion was because we went to Disneyland when I was like 5 and 6. We went consecutive years, and it was just like a year or two later they opened up the Haunted Mansion, and they had a big on the Wonderful World of Disney. They had a big special about the opening of the Haunted Mansion and showing it. It looked so amazingly cool, and I wanted to go back so badly.
Aww. I get it. I
just want to be big. No, I'm sorry.
I want to be big and be able to buy plane tickets.
No, that's the castle's wish at Disneyland. I just want to be big. I took a picture on Main Street of Sleeping Beauty Castle. And I showed it to my girlfriend at work who is going to Disney World in 53 days.
Ooh.
And I said, oh, here. She's, oh, I love this. And I made it bigger. And she's, what is that? I said, that's the castle. We were just, it was little. It was teeny
they have very little land to work with out in Anaheim.
Oh my goodness, yes. It was crazy how little parts of it were.
Which is why when they got the opportunity to open in Florida, Disney just bought up all the land he could.
And,
that makes sense, yeah.
And he did well with that.
Yeah, because in the 80s, there was a lot of dive hotels right around.
Yeah, a lot of dive hotels, a lot of swampland, a lot of just nothing.
California.
Well, in California, there was a lot of dive.
Oh, well, that was the problem with California. Yeah, you left Disney and 10 feet away.
Yeah, it's totally
different. Yeah, it's different now.
It's much different now.
Yeah.
Complete transformation. Yeah.
So we had fun.
We are speaking of Disney, the Australian Lego Masters, they just were partway through the episode, their Disney special episode, where each of the building teams has to recreate a classic Disney movie theme and a scene. And it was Moana, Peter Pan,
oh yeah,
Frozen, Toy Story. Don't remember what the other two are off the top of my head, but Up was one.
Oh, nice.
And can't remember what the sixth one was, but yeah,
that could be awesome. Amazing. Mm-hmm. That would be cool.
We're only about halfway through, and they are doing an amazing job.
Oh wow!
Did anybody watch the football game on Disney?
Oh, the
tiny bit of it.
The Toy
Was
Story.
it like a Disney character football game? I would watch that.
No.
That was on yesterday. They took a live football game and made it look like a Toy Story. It's happening in Andy's room.
Oh, that's cute.
I saw clips. It was cute.
That's super cool.
Margaret was watching part of it. The part she liked best was that Slinky Dog was the 10-yard marker.
Oh,
that's funny.
That's really cute.
There were glitches, but I mean, that's amazing technology.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, that takes a lot of processing power to do something like that.
I wondered why the lights were dimming.
All right, so I know how you all love TikTok, but I gotta share.
But freezing, breaking up, can't.
I want to share what has become one of my TikTok addictions. That I have a feeling this is the strangest thing, but they do really well.
If you think you can.
It's a channel that does Xbox car races.
I'm going with the green one.
Why?
Oh, poor loser.
All right,
Fast fans, where you at? First car to chasing this overtake challenge is the Mona Lisa herself. It's the Nissan Silvia S15.
I love the comment.
Especially since Matchbox cars raced horribly. Hot Wheels were so much better.
Getting real impatient. Oof, the M4's having trouble keeping things around. Now the S15 is on the attack, looking for the opportunity as they zoom by. 1-0 Nissan. All right, it's round 2 now when the BMW gets their shot at taking over. It looks like the S15 is not having a difficult time, though, creating a gap as they're moving swiftly through these turns. From an import tune.
Oh my gosh.
BMW is falling further and further behind. That was one of the cleanest runs down the mountain that we have seen by the S15. Now it's time for the BMW to hold off this Nissan. This is a round they do not want to drop.
Okay.
Pretty good job so far. Oh,
I got a better one.
The BMW
is so good, though. I love it.
I figured out how to do it. Here's the right way to do it.
Wow, I just lost some brain cells.
There we go. You ready?
This is going to be worse than the time I was stuck behind Robert Lozier at the airport.
May I have your name, please?
Robert Lozier.
Can you spell that for me?
Certainly. That's Robert Lozier. R as in Robert Lozier. O as in, oh my God, it's Robert Lozier. B as in, my God, that's Robert Lozier. E as in, everybody loves Robert Lozier. R as in, Robert Lozier. T as in, Tim, look over there, it's Robert Lozier. Space. L as in, look, it's Robert Lozier.
I mean, I already gave it away, but still.
Yeah.
That way it was a TikTok, so it's okay to play that. TikToks you're allowed to play.
Can't disagree with that.
I'm just saying, it's.
But he can't make a new opening for Clutch Radio.
Just it's as much time spent as watching football. This is all I'm saying. I have as much skin in the game.
Yeah.
Yes, you do watching football. I have been watching Matchbox car races.
Matchbox are horrible racing cars. Hot Wheels blow them off the track.
Necessarily Matchbox. He uses all sorts of different brands. It's very interesting. It's kind of fun to watch.
That is fun.
He's got a whole series using the little cars from the movie Cars. So
that's cute.
It's really cute, and they do jumps, and it's amazingly well done.
I don't know why I didn't turn this way the whole time to watch the game.
This from the guy who loves cats.
You love cats. It's true. It is true. It is true.
All right. Well, we have our marching orders.
I think we do. I think we're good. So, crazy.
Keep watching your Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, or start watching it if you haven't. And Corpse Bride.
Down.
Yeah, Corpse Bride. There we are. Excellent. So, watch yourself some stuff, and we'll see you back here next Monday.
And Saturday, Clutch Radio will be back with an all-new name. We haven't announced officially yet.
Oh.
Did you pay some marketing firm to come up with a better name for you?
No, I already had the name. It's just, there's a clutchradio.com. There's a band called Clutch. There's a lot of clutches. And we decided if we want this to grow beyond, 10 people, we need to have something real. And
yeah.
So we're going to call it Axel.
No, it's called
what time is it on?
Stick Shift, Saturday at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. your time.
1 a.m.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Stick Shift. It's called Stick Shift now.
No. Wow. Okay.
No, it's called Automatic. The new Rick Springfield song.
Don't tempt Eric.
There's a song called Automatic from the 80s.
There's also a Rick Springfield song called Automatic that he just came out with.
Your sisters had a song called Automatic. Yes.
I thought it was them.
What's the name of an REM album, as I recall? Or it was Automatic for the People.
That is also true.
All right.
All right. We've hit rock bottom. All right. See you guys next Monday. Good night.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.